the Cavs begin their NBA season next Wednesday. So I figured this was as good of a time as any for me to say who I think will comprise the Cavs starting five, although I'm pretty sure the starting unit was set in stone pretty early in the offseason. So you have Darius Garland. He's set to be the starting point guard for the Cavs. He still has plenty of years left under his max rookie extension. I feel like we've seen Darius Garland have tremendous stretches of play, and we've also seen him really try to fight through some slumps, and that's led to some ugly stretches of basketball for him. Something that I would like to see moving forward as he does get older. He is still only 23. He'll turn 24 in January. Is to try to focus on some of the other aspects of his game that do work well within the offense when the shots just aren't falling. You know, the team does have other scoring options around him, and I do feel like we've seen Darius Garland be able to distribute at a pretty high level. So when Darius Garland just can't quite get those three-point shots to fall, I would rather see him try to kind of make it work within the offense rather than, you know, just try to force a shot that doesn't have a high percentage, even if he was on fire. But when Darius Garland is struggling with his shot, it just kind of exacerbates the issue. I would like to see Darius Garland, you know, maybe focus more on being a distributor if his shots aren't falling. But when Darius Garland is playing like we know he can and his shots are dropping, that is when we've seen him play to the level that he's capable of and elevate to the level where he's just able to take over some games. And I think that's the one we've seen more often than not. In fact, I feel like Darius Garland's usual high level of play is what makes those rough stretches all that more noticeable. It's like, hey, Darius Garland isn't playing like he usually is, and he's kind of forcing shots that they don't need to at the moment. And it does kind of slow the Cavs' momentum down. So again, just hopefully that's just an age thing where some of the Cavs' new additions, both in the starting lineup and on the bench, because Darius Garland will play with some bench players on the occasion. So hopefully he can just kind of, again, I'm hoping to see him, if he's not having the best shooting night, kind of focus on tapping into him as a distributor rather than try to force some shots. But again, the usual level of play from Darius Garland is that he does have that distribution ability and still have a pretty good shot to boot. You also have Donovan Mitchell, definitely going to be the starting shooting guard or the two position. If Garland is injured, we have seen Mitchell slide over to that point guard position. The Cavs, they traded the farm for him last offseason for the Jazz. A bit of a surprise trade, as the Knicks did seem to be the team with the most interest, the team that was kind of talking to the Jazz the most, but the Cavs kind of swooped in and got the deal done. Last regular season, electric for Donovan Mitchell. More than 28 points per game. He had that 71-point game and an overtime comeback win over the Chicago Bulls, a franchise high for points scored in a single game for the Cavs. Expectations are going to be high for him again, rightfully so, I believed, and they were pretty darn high last year for him in a Cavs uniform, and I do feel like in the regular season at least, they were actually a bit surpassed in a way. I do feel like he seems to be embracing being on this Cavs team and being in Cleveland. Hopefully they do achieve some playoff success in order to really keep that enthusiasm high. I don't think you're going to have, if it's back-to-back first-round exits, I'm not sure how excited Donovan Mitchell will be to come back for a third year. And I do feel like forward steps need to be taken this year for the Cavs, or we might start to hear some rumors that I really don't want to think about or get into at the moment. Now, we do have a new starting face, I believe, starting at the small forward or the three position in Max Strus. He was acquired in a sign-in trade with the Miami Heat in this offseason. The San Antonio Spurs also involved with that trade. 4-year, $64 million total contract. Cavs definitely needed another shooting threat on the wing. We saw last year that Isaac Okoro is just too much of an offensive liability. When the Cavs were on offense, it did kind of feel like it was 4.5 on 5, the 4.5 being on the Cavs side. And if you want to inject more offense with Karis LeVert already on the roster, he was way too hot and cold to rely on as a consistent starter. So Max Strus provides that shooting threat, spread the defense out a little bit. Cavs definitely want teams to try to focus on the perimeter because that will allow their front court to go to work, starting with the starting power forward at the 4 spot, Evan Mobley, entering his third year. I do feel like improvement was a bit noticeable from his already impressive rookie campaign. Playing under the team option this year, another team option for Evan Mobley next season. Doesn't have a ton of bulk, and I do feel like that pure lack of like size, not from height, but from a bulk perspective, that lack of size was kind of shown in that playoff series against the Knicks. He's definitely not going to post up guys down from 10 feet out and like, you know, back his way into an easy layup or anything, but the poise and finesse that he shows usually is enough to make up for it. It does seem like he's going to be a presence in Cleveland for both the short and the long-term future. Hopefully he continues to improve even more. I do feel like last season was pretty impressive. We saw some stretches late in the regular season where he was starting to take some games over from both an offensive and a defensive standpoint. So if the Cavs can get second half of last season Evan Mobley moving forward, he's going to be a force to reckon with in the future. And he'll be working alongside the starting center, Jarrett Allen. He has 3 years left on his contract. I do feel like he was definitely subject to some trade rumors, not necessarily even like official rumors, but a lot of the fan base kind of getting antsy about Jarrett Allen's position on the roster after he had a pretty lackluster playoff series against the Knicks. Which, look, if we're going to be trading people and making moves based off of their first round playoff series last season, you're trading most of the team, and you're also firing JB Bickerstaff. The bottom line, I think, is that Jarrett Allen, I think he was shown to be vital to the success of both the offense and the defense for this team last year. Whether he was hurt or just having an off night, when Jarrett Allen wasn't on the floor, you could kind of see the Cavs start to struggle to make up for it a little bit. I know I've said this before in some of my Cavs recap games, but a Jarrett Allen slam dunk has the ability to just bring the energy up in an instant. Most consistently violent dunker on the team, in my opinion. And when the pick and roll game gets going with Jarrett Allen, I do feel like that adds just a pretty good wrinkle for opposing defenses to have to think about when they're playing the Cavs. And both Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, definitely very good paint defenders. Jarrett Allen especially not afraid to challenge somebody going for a dunk in the paint. And that does lead to some great blocks, but it does also put Jarrett Allen on some posters every now and then as well. So that's my, I guess, prediction for the Cavs starting 5. Although, again, I don't think it's really that... It's not a hot take or anything, as I think if it's anything other than this, besides injuries, we're going to be looking at JB Bickerstaff a little bit sideways as a fan base. And just to wrap the video up a little bit off topic here, but Eric Robinson of the Columbus Blue Jackets did clear waivers. He will be playing for the Cleveland Monsters until further notice. It's very possible that he gets called back up due to injury, or if somebody else is just really stinking it up in a Blue Jackets uniform, then maybe they'll get sent down or put on waivers and Eric Robinson will be called back up. But again, for right now, I do feel like there was a little bit of a frenzy of, Eric Robinson's going to get claimed, when in reality, a fourth liner on what the league in the NHL saw as the Blue Jackets were one of the worst teams in the league last year. That guy getting put on waivers, probably not very attractive for many organizations to think about picking up. And I do believe in the NHL, at least, if you get put on waivers and you get claimed, you can't put him back in the AHL. They have to be on your NHL roster for the rest of the season. So I do understand why a lot of teams might not have been eager to sign up for that as far as Eric Robinson goes. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far into it, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and like to see more like it. You can let me know what you think about the Cavs' chances in the starting rotation and maybe some bench players that I'm not giving enough credit that could work their way up into the starting lineup down in the comments below. Once again, thank you for watching. I will see you at the next one.